Well, everyone, thank you for joining us on another episode of the Onstage podcast where we dive deep into the world of music and incredible artists who bring it to life. Today, we have a very special guest, the immensely talented soprano, coloratura soprano, Ashley Nicole, known for her unique youthful voice and a range that spans over 3 octaves, which is coloratura soprano. Ashley has captivated audiences with her performances in opera, pop, rock, jazz, and musical theater. From her original singles to her stunning opera roles, Ashley's versatility and passion for music shine through in every note. Join us as we explore her musical journey, inspirations, and the stories behind her captivating performances. Now, I'd like to ask you, Ashley, thank you for being with us on the platform again for the second time. And it's nice to meet you, and I've heard so much about you. I want to
Oh,
ask you, what inspired you to pursue a career in music, especially how did they find out you were a soprano? How did they find out you were coloratura soprano? We start from the beginning.
oh my. Well, you see, I I didn't grow up with a musical family, or I don't have any connections in my, immediate family or extended family. Nobody's a professional musician. We don't have, my grandma wasn't an opera singer, or you know, my dad wasn't a music producer. So I we actually when I was in elementary school, my mom's friend gave us uh, her upright piano. She was going to upgrade to a baby grand, and so she gave us her piano. And so, ever since I got that piano, I started, just kind of playing around on it, and I really started. That was my love of composing. That's where that came from. Just me, just playing around on the piano, just experimenting. And so then I started taking piano lessons, and then my piano teacher helped me write down the songs that I was creating. And so one of the very that was my first experience with music, was piano. And then I kept taking piano lessons as I got older, and I kept writing songs throughout that time. And I really always did want to be a singer, but I just didn't know how to use my voice. I just thought, if you want to be a singer, you have to be born singing. Like one of my favorite singers, when I was little, was Shirley Temple. Like she was literally, it seemed like she just was born, super talented. And I thought, well, I'm not Shirley Temple, so I'm not a singer. But with my second piano teacher, she was from Russia, and she was also a classically trained opera singer. And so she told me, you should take some voice lessons to help with your piano. And because she was also teaching me music theory, and she was also teaching me, just really basic musicality. And I said, I would love that, but, like, I don't sing. And this was in high school, actually. And I was homeschooled, so I didn't really have any experience with like show choir, or um, I didn't, I wasn't in choirs. I wasn't in like children's choirs or anything like that. Um, so yeah, so I started taking voice lessons with my piano teacher. And and so one day, my first voice lesson, she's like, okay, well, let's just try some warm-ups and see kind of maybe what your range might be. So she starts playing some scales, and I just keep singing, higher and higher and higher and higher. And she's like, I didn't know what a normal range would be, or really anything. I was just kind of doing what I could do. And she's like, well, Ashley, she's like, you're a coloratura soprano. I'm like, Okay. What's that?" And she's like, "That's like the highest, female voice." Like, she's like, "That's really cool." I'm like, "Okay." And so she one of the first songs she gave me was Edelweiss, and I recorded it on my on my computer, and I was super shy to sing and stuff for my family. Like, I didn't want them to hear me. Like, I would only sing if everybody left the house, like everyone's gone, I can sing now. And so I recorded it, and then I showed my mom the recording, and she's like, "Wait, is that you?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "That's really good." Like, "Oh, cool." So I grew pretty quickly after that, and my teacher, she gave me the next songs I learned were "I Could Have Danced All Night," and then also "O Mio Babino Caro." So I started out singing classically and being classically trained. I didn't have any other really like, I guess, American singing style influence. It was straight classical training from the beginning. Um so yeah, so that's how it all started. And when I first performed I Could Have Danced All Night, it was so funny because my teacher, she knew I could hit the high note. And I was just like, "No, I can't hit the high note. Like, no." And she's like, "You can do it." And I'm like, "I don't know." It's so funny now because I send the videos of me singing now to my voice teacher, and she's like, she loves it so much because I always go for the high note now. Like, that's my favorite part of the song. So yeah, so that's how it all got started.
Wow. Yeah. Tell us about your early musical influences.
Okay. Well, my my earliest musical influences, are, I guess, you know, my main musical influence as for me as an artist is Sarah Brightman. You know, when I after I heard, Sarah Brightman, I was really convinced that that's what I wanted to do, with my life, was to sing classically and to study classical music, and when I heard Time to Say Goodbye and I heard Canto della Terra, I was just like, "Oh man,
Mm.
that's beautiful." Like, that is just
Bocelli sings
beautiful.
that. Yeah.
Who's that? Bocelli?
Andrea Bocelli. Yeah, he sings that.
Yes, Andrea Bocelli, and Sarah Brightman. That's the one I heard, the duet, and I was just like,
Mhm.
"Oh man." And I just haven't stopped ever since then. But that was in high school. So,
Mhm.
my I've just had so many different early musical influences. But another one that was really important to me was when my parents took me to see the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh wow,
And
nice.
yeah, so there was a local, the touring performance, and we went to see it, and it just really, it just really blew my mind. Everything about it, just the acting and the
Hmm.
drama and the music and the high notes. And it was so funny because my dad, he came home and played the soundtrack, the rest of the night too, and I just couldn't believe the high notes you know that Christine sings. And I haven't stopped listening to the Phantom of the Opera since then. And I that was actually the first, like, piano book that I bought, was Big Note Phantom of the Opera. So I first learned to play all those songs on the piano. So yeah, so that was the first, like, piano book I bought, was the Big Note Phantom of the Opera, and I learned to play all the songs on the piano. So I think that really influenced me a lot. Just the beautiful songwriting by Andrew Lloyd Webber, and just everything about it. I just love it so much, and I sing every song from the Phantom of the Opera now. Like, I
Nice.
sing every uh, song basically. And yeah, it's just I love it so much. I can't tell you how much I love it.
being Christine Dene, like how do you handle that whole like because being a coloratura soprano helps you do that role?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Because the role was written for Sarah Brightman, and so
Mhm.
we have very similar voices, Sarah Brightman and I. And she, she, yeah, she's a coloratura soprano, and so the high notes really actually come easy for me. And it's the low notes that I had to work really hard on developing because the high notes actually came really easily for me. Um, but the classical training really does help, um, help to obviously be able to reach that really high note. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to sing it if I didn't have classical training. I don't think. So, like I said, I started off with classical training, so
Mhm.
I don't really know what it is to sing without being classically trained because I didn't really try to sing ever before I started voice lessons. Um, you know, I if I did sing, it was very quietly.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Actually, he wrote it and performed in 1986. So I think the 40th
Oh,
anniversary is coming up pretty soon.
oh, wow.
So I wonder what they're going to do. That they're probably going to release versions of that. But Phantom was my favorite musical. And then
Me
there is
too.
that sequel, I believe, Love Never Dies, which
Mhm.
had a couple of good tunes on it, but it's really it doesn't fare very well compared to Phantom, which is better. Like really, I don't know why he made a sequel, but it was actually I love it. I love the whole musical and everything. Um, but so and as you were developing your unique vocal range, and you figured out how high you can go, and you figured out how low you can go.
Yes. Um, so I can go to the, C below middle C,
Mm.
um, and I really developed that range through singing Patsy Cline.
Oh wow!
So she was another one of my really early musical
Oh
influences.
wow!
Because she's my mom's favorite country singer
Hmm.
is Patsy Cline. So I would listen to Patsy Cline a lot growing up, and she was a what they call a contralto, which is like the lowest female voice.
Mm.
But also, Patsy Cline, the way she sings, like she almost could have been an opera singer just because she has that that type of voice that could have been an opera singer. So I really can feel um I can really lean into the classical training when I sing her music, but it took a long time to be able to sing the lower notes because just um you really have to train the lower voice a lot as a
Yeah,
coloratura soprano.
yeah. How do you balance performing different genres of music from opera to pop?
I it's taken a really long time just to be able to find my voice. And it's interesting because I really don't think very much about switching in between like voices, like before, maybe it was kind of like now I'm singing in my opera voice and now I'm singing in my pop voice, whereas now it's just my voice. And um, I don't really think very much about switching in between them anymore. Um, but yeah, so it feels really natural now for some reason. And it's just like it's more of like I'm going to sing this song or I'm going to sing this song. So I don't really think it doesn't really take too much like thinking now to go between them because I I just kind of sing in my voice now. Although I guess sometimes I might add different colors to my voice depending on the it's more about like the emotion of the song, as opposed to like I'm going to use my, operatic technique now. like, so yeah, so it's just me singing a song. I think sometimes as singers we tend to overthink like, this is how this song is supposed to sound, or like, this is how an opera singer is supposed to sing,
Mhm.
like, it's like every song is just notes on a page, like it's just notes on a page. And we we sing, we interpret that, and there's a million ways you can interpret, notes on a page. So, once you have your technique down and once you have your voice, it's like you can sing any notes.
What can you tell us and describe your creative process when writing and producing your original songs?
Yeah. So, the my creative process is, it really just comes from kind of inspiration from just at random times, you know. And I usually get inspiration with a melody, um, and melody and lyrics at the same time. Um, and you know, I'm not like a person who like really sits down and like intentionally like tries to come up with something. I'm just usually inspired a lot of times when I'm just doing other things. Um, and so you just take that idea and then of the melody and the lyrics, and then you write harmony for it. So you have the chords, and then and then you take that. And usually I'll start out on the piano because that's my first instrument is the piano. So I play it out on the piano, find the chords that I like, um, and then and then just go from there. But sometimes I really struggle to write the second verse because usually the first verse and the chorus will just come super easily to me. But then trying to put the same melody to different words is really challenging for some reason. Like because I get so attached to like verse one, like this is the original words that this melody that I was inspired with, and then it's like I have to think of another verse now.
Mhm.
And so that's when I really have to be intentional about writing is verse two.
Yeah,
So that tends to trip me up sometimes.
yeah, I can understand what you're talking about. You mentioned about you just suddenly you're inspired, and most songs that people write are based on experience. And I'm going to ask you this. I heard charade, and I'm like, what's the experience behind this? I'm tired of trying so hard, never getting anywhere. Big dreams, big bills to pay, hard road to never reap, always sow. What's so great about a degree? I'm burned out, tired out, never catching a break. What's all about? What experience is that?
Well, I think anybody in the music business will tell you it's very, very hard, and you face a lot of challenges in so many different ways. It's very, very difficult. And uh, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of um, discouraging times. There's a lot of times when you just really, you know, start to question yourself and like, your abilities and especially as an independent artist, it's also challenging to just to be able to afford to do the things you need to do to produce music. And it's a long challenge, and it's a long road, and it's very hard. But I just always believed in my dream, and I've just wanted to be a singer, more than anything. And so I just, my favorite line of the song is, life gives you lemonades. I've got to, life gives you lemons, make lemonade. I've got to make life sweet. And, so every time I've faced a challenge, or I've faced a setback, or I've faced a just a really emotional time, I've just tried to take that, whatever that was, and make something positive out of it and use it to propel me forward as opposed to using it to tear me down. And so yeah, so that's what the song's about. It's about no matter what you face, just take it. And you're going to question everything. Like, you're going to question, am I, am I good? Can I make it? Can I get to the next, level? Like, should I just quit? Like, I think every singer is at the point where they're always like, should I quit? Should I stop? Should I do something else? It's like, no, like, you have to, even when it just seems like, oh man, this is impossible. Like, and especially as a singer, like, it's so funny because you're constantly just like, especially at the beginning, you're just like always questioning your voice, like, itself, like, oh man, like, I can, especially when you're, yeah, developing your technique and just trying to find your voice, or it's like, I can't sing this, I can't do, so it's yeah, that's what it's about. And it's just that my message, the main message that I want to convey with that song is that, you know, I know that you're questioning everything. I know that it seems impossible. I know that it's really hard, and that it seems impossible. But if you really believe in yourself, and you really believe in your dream, and you really, really love music, and you have a song to sing, don't give up on yourself, because you will make it to the other side. You will make it.
How do you prepare for a live performance?
Well, I mean, there's so many factors that goes into performing, and preparing for live performances. I mean, first you just have to make sure you know the music really well. It's practice the music. And um, because once you're performing, you really just have to be in the emotion of the song, because you really can't be up there thinking about, the technique
Yes.
or the lyric or the, anything. You just have to be 100% in the emotion of the song, while still obviously keeping a little bit of track on what the lyric is. Because if you get too like too just into the moment, you're like, where am I? So, what am I? um so uh so yeah, so performing is just it's crazy how much um concentration it takes, and like how much just really specific. It's a really specific mental game. There's so many mental aspects to performing live, like, and also just staying positive too, because there's also, if you're not careful, people can be just really um, uh, terrified, and then you can't do anything you practiced, because when your body goes into that, like, state of, like, fear, then you can't be, because in order to sing well, you have to be totally free and calm, and like, um you know which is the opposite of being terrified.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy, like, mental process you have to go to perform live. So I don't know if that answered the question, but
Yeah. Can you share any challenges you faced in your music and how you overcame them?
oh goodness, so many, so many,
Is there one that particular stands out in your mind?
so many. I think just the main one is, like, you know I think the hardest one is just staying true to yourself, because along the way, you get a lot of, I mean, it's like, oh goodness, there's so many different opinions, and like different people telling you, you know oh gosh, just so many things. But I think you really have to know yourself, and know the right people to listen to. And I'm all about, like, taking advice and learning, but at the same time, you can't take everyone's advice. Like, you have to choose wisely what you're going to listen to, and um, what you're going to live by. And I think a lot of people get really caught up in, like, well, so and so said this, and so maybe maybe I shouldn't do this, and maybe it's like, no, you have to know yourself and know who to listen to, and choose wisely your mentors, because those people are really going to influence your future. And um, yeah, so just really be wise about that. And I think that's one of the main things I've learned. And um, yeah, over the years. And also being kind to myself, because again, realizing that it is a process and you have to go through the process. You're not going to be like a perfect singer on the very first song you learn and your very first voice lesson. Like, it is a process, and it's going to take a long time. And so I think that's the biggest challenge. And not don't lose the faith. Just keep going, and um keep going, and stay true to yourself, and listen to
Hmm.
your inner, your, I guess, yeah, your heart, and what that you believe is your vision for yourself. Believe in your vision for yourself. And so that's the main thing. I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Well, the month of May was Mental Health Month. So, how do you maintain your mental health, vocal health, stamina?
Yeah. So, um, I mean, I try to get plenty of rest. I think that's the main thing. Plenty of sleep. It's very important for the voice to get a lot of sleep, and eat healthy. I try to follow really a healthy diet, and exercise. And just getting fresh air, and taking that time to take care of your health is very important, because it's really easy to become way too busy, and to also to think like, oh, well, I don't have time to exercise now, or I don't have time to stretch, or I don't have time to breathe.
Hmm.
um, but that has to be a huge priority for a singer, because our body is our instrument. And and you have to, yeah, you have to really take care of your that, and all of that stuff really helps a lot with mental health. And so I try to do all of that. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. That would work.
That would work if we could do it right.
Yeah. So, how do you approach learning and interpreting a new opera role? For instance, can you tell us about your experience performing Adina in Elixir of Love? What was it like for you? How did you prepare for that role?
Oh man, so that was such a wonderful experience for me. It was my it was like the first time that I really worked closely with a orchestra. And I was just so excited. I mean, I can't remember how anything else I was that excited to do. And I love, first of all, I love the Elixir of Love. And when I watched Anna Netrebko singing that, there's a DVD, and I watched that like a million times. And I got the score, and I just went through it on the piano, and I played it over and over, and I listened to recordings to get just to get the I guess the way that the music goes, because the score, you can get kind of caught up in the little details, but then it's kind of like you just have to get into the emotion of the song at some point, and the feeling. So yeah, so I went through the score. I over and over played it on the piano, sang it, listened to the recordings, listened to several recordings, because you don't just want to copy another artist, like exact. You want to have your own interpretation. So and then obviously when you get into the performance, the orchestra, and the conductor, they have their kind of ideas for how it goes and the tempos. But then, you know, I remember really specifically, it was a really cool moment where the first violin, he says to me, you sing it the way you want to sing it, and then we'll play to you. And I was like, wow, thank you. Like, that really meant a lot to me because, as a singer, you really become, um, you really want to express music and I in my own tempo, like I have kind of my own rhythm and my own kind of tempo that feels really comfortable for my voice.
Hmm.
um and so they really were, uh they really were helpful, and they really encouraged me to sing, to sing it my way, which I really really appreciated so much. So yeah, so that was just an amazing amazing experience. I'll never forget it, and I had so much fun.
Well, playing Adina, you also played Rosina in the Barber of Seville. How much of Ashley Nicole is there in these characters? How much of Ashley was in Rosina, and how much was Ashley was Adina?
So much. So much. There was no acting at all. It's 100% me. No, just oh goodness. Yes, that's what I really liked about those characters, is I could really put a lot of myself into the character. And I think that's really important to me, is being authentic to myself. And so in order for me to play a part, there definitely has to be some of me in that character, because that really allows me um to, I guess, my personality to come through, if I can be myself in the character. Um so yeah, so definitely a lot of similarities between me and those characters.
How do you connect with your audience during a performance? How do you do it so people are like, wow, you know?
Well, um that's kind of one of the things that's really interesting about the difference between maybe opera singing and singing in a concert style. um, is that there's that, what is it, the fourth wall or the third wall that where you is it the third wall, is that what it is? I think, where it's like, basically, you kind of are supposed to put like a wall up between you and the audience, and there's really like no connection, like they're just looking in at you, kind of like if somebody was watching a television or something. But it's funny because I kind of imbue a lot of that, breaking the wall between me and the audience, just because I love to connect with the audience so much. um, and that's kind of a little bit of what people said was unique about my performance, is that I I do kind of tend to, you know, make the audience feel like they're included in the I don't know, kind of like, what do they call it, like an aside, where they kind of intentionally will be like, to the audience, or whatever. Like, I kind of do that, but not to where it's like obvious, but like, to just, it's very subtle, I guess, to where the audience feels like they are included in the story, and I'm kind of sharing with them. But I can do that a lot more in the concert setting, where you can really connect with the audience a lot, which is why I really love to sing um, in the concert style, because you really can really directly connect with the audience, and you can really develop that, you know that connection. So, um but yeah, oh gosh,
Uh,
yes.
so, like, what do you consider a typical day in your life as an coloratura opera singer? Like, for instance, let's say starting Monday, you have to go and practice because you're going to be performing the main character in Wicked, which is totally like not coloratura opera. There's nothing, it's just singing. So you have to go in on Monday. So, what would your typical day like be today or this weekend, or would you start learning? Like a week ago, 2 weeks ago? How far in advance would you start if you knew that you were performing tomorrow? How far in advance would you have to be learning that?
Well, ideally, you want to have months to prepare for a
Oh,
role
really?
like
Okay.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
And, really, I notice with a lot of my repertoire that you really um, can really embody the role or the character when you do it once and then you put it away for a while and then you bring it out again. Something about, doing it and then putting it away and then doing it again. You really can be free with the the music. Even like songs that I'll sing one year, then I, put them away for a while and I get them back out again. It's like it really becomes a part of you at that point. So, but if I know sometimes, if you're learning a role or something, you can't put it away for a year, but sometimes they might, I mean, in certain situations, they might let you know a year in advance you're going to do a role next year. But,
Oh, wow.
but yeah, but you definitely want a couple months to just get the music in your mind,
Wow.
in your body, in your voice, and
Mm.
um, I mean, but there has been lots of times when I have had to learn a song a couple days before a performance. This happens for like funerals. I'll learn a song in like 2 days and then I perform it for a
Wow.
funeral. That's really challenging because, not only are you trying to learn a song, but there's like that emotional thing too. Um, so yeah, so it just depends. And you have to be really flexible regardless of how much time you have. You still have to do the best job, even if you have 2 months or if you have 2 days. So it just really depends on how lucky enough you are to have how much time you have. But yeah, ideally you want to have as much time as possible, obviously, to work on it a little bit every day to prepare instead of like cramming for an exam. It's like cramming for a test.
Exactly.
You want to start studying early. You don't want to study the night before, but sometimes you have to. And sometimes you'll still get an A even if you only studied the night before.
What would be your advice to an aspiring opera singer at that moment?
Wow. Well, I would just, tell them don't give up and to like always believe in themselves and yeah, and to practice as much as you can and to also to go to as many performances as you can and listen to as much music as you can. Um, and Also learn the piano, because the piano, I was really blessed to have such a good foundation in piano before I started singing. And that has helped me in so many ways, knowing the piano. And yeah, so, but I think if I only had a few seconds to encourage someone, I would just be like, believe in yourself and don't give up.
But you want to connect with your audience, so you want to connect with this person. You got to give them the best advice. You don't want to be like, "That's what you do." Okay, bye. I gotta go. You want to be able, oh, well, this is what you do. You got to spend a little bit of time with them, because
Oh, okay.
the worst you don't want them is, "No, I'm not going to go and see any more performances by that Ashley because she was rude." You want to
Oh,
connect.
no.
You want to connect with everyone. Say, "Oh, this is what you do."
Of course.
So I asked a musician the same question. He goes, "Don't." It was funny.
That's hilarious.
He was only joking though. But so have
Uh,
you ever had any criticism or feedback on your performances? How do you handle them?
um, I've been pretty blessed to not have too much criticism on my performances. Um, but I think I mean, you have to consider consider the source of the criticism. Um, and if it's good advice, you need to take it and to learn from it and to implement it in learning process. Because that's the only way you can get better, is to take the criticism um, and to learn from it. But at the same time, obviously, you have to know whether it's, you know, is it something that I should take, or is it something that's not valid? Is it valid, or is it not? So you have to decide that at first. Um, and if it doesn't resonate with you, or you know, if it's something that's maybe like, well, maybe, somebody might just be literally, people might say like, I don't like opera, like somebody might be like that. Well, you can't help that, because if you, if you're an opera singer, it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to not sing opera. This, but, and then, so I guess you just consider what are they saying? Can I learn from it? Yes or no? If it's something I can learn from and I can grow from, then take it and learn from it, grow from it, and move on. Don't dwell on it. Don't like say, well, that's just part of my character now. Don't make it a personality trait, like, because some people, you might start to be like, well, that's just, that, it's, you can learn from whatever it is that you need to learn from. So, yeah.
How do you? That's a good answer. How do you feel about artificial intelligence out there? You can create opera and classical tunes with it, and I don't think you'd want your voice cloned.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, wow, like, I mean, it's really quite frightening.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, I don't know what the future's going to hold, with all this, but whew, I don't know. It's really something that, it's never, mankind has never experienced something like this before.
Yeah,
So it's really, it's kind of scary. And I mean, there are certain parts of it that are kind of maybe interesting, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out.
definitely. Well, everyone, all of Ashley Nicole's music will be linked down below. Before we end the stream, I want to ask you: is there a certain message that you want people to take away from when they listen to Charade or Two?
Wow. Well, I hope that you enjoy the music. I hope that you find it beautiful, and I hope that it inspires you.
Hmm.
Um, and I hope that you come along with me on my journey. And I've got a lot more songs coming out, and original songs. And so, yeah, so I hope that you can come along with me into my imaginary world.
And where can people find you if they want to listen to your music and social media?
Yes, so my website is ashleynicolesoprano.com, ASHLEYNICOLESOPRANO.com. And I have all my links to all my socials on there. All of my socials are at Ashley Nicole Soprano, except for Twitter, I think. Um, and I'm on Spotify, and you just have to look up Ashley Nicole Soprano. That's my official artist name. And you have to put the soprano on there. If you Google Ashley Nicole Soprano, I will also come up. And don't forget the soprano. Not, you can't just put Ashley Nicole, because there's like 5 million Ashley Nicoles in the
I know,
world. But
especially on YouTube, I type in Ashley Nicole and it's got like hundreds and hundreds before I literally find you. And I'm like, where is she?
yes,
Where is she? Oh,
yes.
there she is. Yeah.
But if you put in, I think if you put in Ashley Soprano, I'll come up. If you put in Nicole Soprano, I'll come up.
Yeah.
So you have to have the soprano.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's me,
Yeah.
Ashley Nicole Soprano. So, and I'm on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube. Um, and and also on Spotify, please press the follow button. There's a button on Spotify, um,
I did.
that
Yeah.
you can follow. Yay, thank you, Chris. Um, so be sure to press that because that will allow my music to show up in your new release playlist in new releases. So it notifies you when I have a new song. And I've got a lot of new songs coming out in the future. So I want everybody to hear them.
Yes,
Yay.
especially Charade, everyone, is an instrumental version, and the regular version, Charade, on Spotify. Then you have the song, beautiful song, You Don't Love Me, and then one called Wanna Be in Love and Believe. But everyone, I want you to go and listen to her holiday album, but don't listen to until Christmas time. And her song two just was released. It's really good. As she mentioned, half of it was sang in Italian, and it's beautiful. So yeah, and looking forward to hearing more of music. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for joining us today. An absolute pleasure to have the incredibly talented soprano, Ashley Nicole, with us. And we hope you enjoyed learning about her musical journey, her aspirations, and the stories behind her captivating performances. Don't forget to check out her latest releases and follow her on all social media to stay updated on her upcoming projects. Until next time, keep listening, keep exploring, and keep the music alive. Goodbye, everyone.
Yay.
Okay, wait right there, Ashley. Okay, everyone, we're going to end this stream.
Mi hai colto di sorpresa, sei molto gentile, molto gentile. Sei bello come un principe, ma anche umile, anche umile. E le canzoni che mi hai cantato, cosa ci hai pensato? Nothing's as it seems. Only floating on clouds, I am falling again. Flying with stars, I will see you again. E la sera mi hai guardato con gli occhi tristi. Avevo giudicato prima di conoscerti. Nel mio cuore spezzato spero che il nostro amore sia vero. See the light that gleams in my floating on clouds, I am falling. Fly